then what is the net adjusted return for me if I discount the opportunity loss because of the money that is invested, and if I adjust the indexation cost of acquisition? If I adjust this, what is the money? Like, I'll give you a simple example.
Sure.
During the COVID, I bought an apartment in Dubai land.
Okay.
And I bought for 600,000 from Bengati.
Okay.
It's Bengati Eastwood in Dubai land. And it was 2-bedroom, 1,400 square feet.
For how much?
600,000.
Wow. How many square foot?
1,400.
God damn, you struck a gold mine.
Yeah. So now, but again, let me tell you one thing.
Okay.
Now, if you see very clearly that I've invested 600,000 3 years back, technically a 10% return if I would have invested somewhere else, it means 180 is anyway going to be added to my portfolio. Correct?
Right.
So it means 780 should have been. And again, the inflation adjusted of 600,000 to 10%, because 3 years back, 10 dirham was 10, not 10 dirham. Today it's 7. So there's an indexation cost.
Right.
So that is another 10% discount on inflation.
Right.
So I take the 180. So 180 is like 360 plus 600 what I paid.
Right.
Is like 960 now.
Right.
Then I paid 3 years service charge, which is 30,000. It's another 100,000.
Right.
Okay, so it means now my property cost is now reached 1080.
Okay. 1,080,000.
1,060,000, sorry.
Okay.
So 1,060,000, and today if the property is sold at 1.2 million, what is my net return?
But you still made rentals.
What rental I made? I'm staying in the apartment.
So you saved on your rent for the past 3 years, which
Yeah.
was gradually increasing.
150 if I take that as I save, and if I say right now, so the net return, if you see on the total value, is not more than even 15% in 3 years or 20%.
20% in
Even
3
when
years.
the property was bought during COVID, so that's my point. You got my
20%.
point.
It also depends on where you buy, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Correct.
these are the important calculations which maybe as a layman, I did not understand this.
You probably went in there thinking that it's a good buy. You're getting it for 600,000 for a 2-bedroom.
It just
It's
came up. It
amazing.
just came up. I went.
No, for sure. I'm just saying, it probably sounded too good.
I went with a friend, and then they just sold it to me, and I just took it.
There you go. But yes, you did make a bit of appreciation, yes, considering inflation. But that is why I also say it's very important where you buy. The studio I bought in Business Bay today is at 2,550 dirhams a square foot. People told me I was crazy. But I'm seeing the demand moving in. For me, it was important to buy a studio with the Burj Khalifa view right in front of the street next to Dubai Mall. If I want a short-term let it, I can short-term let it. If I want a long-term rent it, I can long-term rent it. I'm getting net take home is 7%. Right? And I didn't even use any of my own money.
Okay, you've taken a bank mortgage.
No, I have another property on the shoreline in the Palm, a 3-bedroom, which I bought for 1.7 back in the day. Today's value is 4.5 million. I gave it to the bank. I took 50% out. And
So you're paying an interest cost on that.
Of course. I took a 25-year loan.
No, my point was that do really real estate advisors do inform us all these calculations in advance, or is it that they just figure out the big number, the 1.2 million minus the 600,000 was written on the title deed, and they say, oh, you made 600,000, and that's where my calculation actually came up. You know.
True.
So in a shallow sense, it shows, oh, I made double the money.
Right.
But actually, I didn't make.
It's like looking at properties in India where you buy
Exactly.
something for 1 CR today, next 5 years down the line, it's worth 7 CR.
You got my question?
I totally
And
get
I
you.
felt that, okay, I put 600,000 but into 3 years back, and I didn't even make money out of it. Okay, I saved rent. But how much rent? I saved 5%. But I lost opportunity. And then anyway, the money would have grown by indexation.
True.
And in that case also, you see, the absolute return was merely only for 20% in 3 years.
Which is about 7% a year.
7%.
Which is not bad.
Again, I'm
Comparatively,
saying,
and compared to any other asset class which is more safer and stable, I think 7% is fair.
But Zoheb, it's not liquid. You need to understand.
Of
It's
course
not
it isn't
liquid.
liquid.
If I'm getting 10% in an investment for 10%, and the money is lying liquid, now that's a totally different asset line.
Then you can go into stocks and bonds.
Yeah.
But then you are more...
But of course, everywhere we have to separate the investments. And I do believe that, of course, investment categories has to be built.
And that's
this
why
is
it's
one of the-
important to diversify your portfolio.
No, that's why it's important to know where the capital appreciation goes very deep. And that's why it's very important to have a real estate consultant who understands these subjects very deep.
True.
And that's my point was that I wanted to know, today, do we have those real estate consultants in Dubai? Or do we have only these veteran consultants like you who go deep and who spend almost 10 years, 15 years grinding and taking those challenges of, buyers?
True.
And only after that coming up with solutions that will convince them. Make sense?
True. There aren't that many of them, for sure.
Yeah. So what will be your suggestion to these guys? Or what do you think that they should add value, or in terms of any courses or something they should learn, or how, what's the message to owners?
Like I said earlier, man, I mean, the deeper you dig in, the better it is. Find the right person you want to work with, rather than just going around with anyone who, like you said, looks flashy, comes in a nice car, dressed up in a nice suit.
Coming back to your core subject, Zohaib, I wanted to understand that, I mean, from the outside, from India or from my home country, they actually see that Dubai is a very wealthy country, or whether it's wealthy state. And what is the affordability of people to buy your property, or what is the ticket size, that a minimum ticket size that will be available for someone who wants to invest? I mean, and I think I've seen a lot of Instagram videos where they say it's cheaper than even Mumbai. Can you just touch point on these things?
I think you can buy something as low as $150,000.
It falls within the affordability, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, you could go to International City, you could get a studio apartment for 150,000 US. You could go to Discovery Gardens, you get a one bed for, I think, 450,000 dirhams.
Wow.
No, studio for 450, one bed for about 500 to 600,000.
Wow.
So opportunities.
So
there,
it's
man.
still affordable.
I think so. I mean, you get a fairly good size in these areas because they were built well in advance, long before, and the rental yields today are fairly reasonable. You get a good 6.5-7%. So
And the construction age is not too far. I mean, it's just maybe about 8 to 10 years old building.
correct, 10 to 12 years old, I think. But
That's
yeah, it's not too bad actually.
So what about the finance? How do one get finance in this place? Or what are the terms of getting finance? Because maybe someone will come to you and say, I just need a house here. I mean, I'm just tired of paying my landlord and he keeps increasing my rent. I live in a studio city and just help me out. And this is my salary is about maybe 15,000 dirham.
Right.
Help me.
So
And
what the banks
what's the
do
way?
is,
what is the way to get?
so banks 50% they remove off from your salary right away,
Okay.
and then they check what's your credit card spend. They check how do you live, do you have any car repayments, or so on and so forth. We
The
usually
AECB report.
sorry.
The AECB report.
To be honest, I have zero knowledge on that, but the guy I work with is a mortgage advisor.
Okay.
And he's a mortgage consultant. So